Hey y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to the Gotham Graffiti podcast, episode number 2. So, 2024 is kind of a light year for news. There's not a whole lot going on other than a few movies and games here and there. So, on the in-between episodes, we want to upload consistent content for y'all. So, we're going to kind of be grasping at certain and, just kind of situational themes and lists and just things to talk about. So, being that we talked about the DCEU last episode, we thought we'd give you a variation of a conversation of Marvel movies as a whole. So what we have today are the IMDb's top 10 Marvel movies. This isn't just MCU. This is everything that Marvel Films has ever done. Fox, everything. Sony, all of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in order from 10 to 1, listing every movie and then telling you if we believe it's underrated, overrated, or fairly rated. And the way these rankings are going to work is number 1, if we feel that the movie should or shouldn't be in the list at all, and then number 2, the numbering of where it's at. So those will be the 2 factors we're judging off of. And then at the very end of it, just for fun, we're going to give y'all our number 1 favorite and what we feel is the best Marvel project that they have yet to release to this day. So we'll start off at number 10 with X.2, which is the second X-Men that came out, and I want to say, if I remember correctly, 2004.
Yeah, 2003, 2004.
I want to say it's 2004.
Yeah.
I want to say it was the same year as Spider-Man 2, but I could be wrong. So we're going to go into Scotty's thoughts first on what he thinks about X2.
All right, so
where you've got it.
Yeah, so I've never seen X2. So
Shame him, dude.
Yes,
Shame
shame me. So as much as a superhero guy that I am, I've just never been into the X-Men that much. Maybe it's just for lack of exposure. But I haven't seen it, so I can't fairly rate it. So I got my notes here.
I tried to educate him as best I could.
Yeah, I know, but it is what it is. I can't really give it a rating, unfortunately. I do have ratings for all the other ones.
Okay, so then we'll go with mine here. I've got it at underrated. I think X2 is one of the best movies Marvel has produced. Obviously, I'm a big X-Men guy from my Gambit shirt. I think it's great. I think in a lot of ways it did for X-Men what Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's movie did. The first one came out. It was really cool at the time. It was like, oh, cool, X-Men. And then they just leveled it up. There's so much to like about the movie. And the reason I have it underrated is because I do believe it is top 10, but I don't believe it's 10. Some of the movies that we're going to get into that IMDb's got ranked, I feel that X2 is just, a couple notches above. So for that reason, I am putting X2 at underrated.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Well, we'll be moving right along here. So IMDb has number 9 is the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. So I'll go ahead and say I have it as underrated because kind of the same thing with you and X2. I definitely think it should be on the top 10 for Marvel, absolutely. But I don't think some of the other movies that are above it, I think that it should definitely be over some of these other movies.
I gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so for me, it's underrated as well. I feel like the first Spider-Man movie goes under the rug a lot. Spider-Man is Marvel's Batman just in terms of surplus of content. We have just had so many Spider-Men and Spider-Man movies that I get the one that came out in 2002 kind of sometimes falls through the wayside.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the second best one. Out of all Spider-Man movies, it's the second best one. Maybe third, depending on who you ask. I will accept if you think The Amazing Spider-Man is better than the first Spider-Man. I don't agree, but I've heard people say that take. I don't hate it. I'll allow it. We both have it underrated for that reason. It should 100% be in the top 10. It should just be higher. So coming off of Spider-Man, we have got Avengers: Age of Ultron at number 8.
Yes. I have Avengers Age of Ultron as overrated. I think of the 4 Avengers movies, I think it is the one that lacks the most. I think the first Avengers movie is definitely better. Age of Ultron or Infinity War is better, and I even think that Endgame is better than the second one. I do agree that there is some cool stuff that we get to see in that movie, and I do think that Ultron gets a lot of flack. I think he actually does a decent job. as
I
the
do
villain.
too, yeah.
But as far as I think, if you're doing top 10 Marvel of all time, I don't think it should be. I don't even think it should be in the top 10, to be honest.
Okay.
I think it's definitely overrated.
Okay. I don't hate that. So yeah, it's overrated for me as well. I don't think it's in the top 10 at all. And that's coming from someone who likes Age of Ultron. Yeah. I enjoy Age of Ultron. I agree with Scotty in that I think Ultron's actually probably one of the better antagonists in the MCU, like whether it's phase 1, 2, 3, or 4. Excuse me. I really like Ultron. We get Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. We get
him for one movie.
For also, I think in a lot of ways that was the last time the Hulk was palatable in the MCU. I think that was probably the last time that you could watch Hulk's story in a movie and enjoy it and not roll your eyes at it. I mean, you've got the Hulk and Hulkbuster scene. You've got the stuff with Natasha.
I was really upset that he lost to Tony. I really think that he should have won.
Well, obviously, but that's neither here nor there. But I just think that was probably the last time we got to really enjoy the Hulk.
Yeah, like him becoming the Hulk was actually a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't even think that's an unpopular opinion at this point. I think most people are very vocal about the fact that they don't like the way the MCU handled Hulk. So
they did him dirty, especially.
I mean, dude, he went from being one of the big three of Marvel to being like, oh yeah, the Hulk.
Yeah,
and it's like it's kind of like a little side note here, where you're seeing there's this thing that's really popular on social media right now, where people are posting who would win, Kratos versus the Hulk. Now, granted, Kratos would dog walk him. We're not saying he wouldn't. But the fact that people aren't even having it be a conversation is like, oh, people don't understand what the Hulk is anymore.
Yeah.
Like, people don't understand what he is.
Yeah, because a lot of them are going off of, like, you know, She-Hulk and, like, Avengers Endgame Hulk, where it's just kind of like he's just the smart...
He's almost, in a way, become the Thing. He's almost taken hey, here we go. This is a hot take. What the Thing is supposed to be as a character and for team representation, that is what the MCU has done to the Hulk. He's just the big, strong guy that makes a couple cracks here and there, and he's kind of the butt of the joke.
Yes.
The Hulk in the MCU is the Thing.
That's why I'm saying, like, because like you said, in Age of Ultron was the last time we really got to see Hulk be this big threat, because, you know, in previous movies it was like whenever, like in the first Avengers movie, when he turns into the Hulk,
he saves the day.
When he turns into the Hulk the first time, it almost becomes like a horror scene. Like he's like, like with Natasha trying to calm him down, he rips through the helicarrier.
You got that shot of him running that straight shot.
Yeah,
as she's running.
And then even like at the very end, whenever he comes in on his little scooter and he's like, "I'm always angry," and you're like, "Yes, he's gonna mess up some people."
You feel it's like you're watching Hulk do Hulk things.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, but other than that, the movie has a lot of faults, so that's kind of why we've got that where we've got it. Went on a little tangent there, but so next we'll go right into number 7, which IMDb has as Civil War.
Yes. So I think as where it's at the list, I think it's fairly rated. I think it's. I mean, maybe you move it up or down, maybe like
here
or there. But I think because you know it's the third Captain America movie. I don't think it's the best one. It's probably.
It's my least favorite.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still a decent addition to the Captain America. Yeah. You know, we get to see him and Bucky. We get, you know, Falcon comes in there. Spider-Man. Of all the Tom Holland movies, I think he's probably the best
of all
in that
the appearances of Tom Holland, that's the best one.
That's the best one.
That's the best one.
But I mean, I have it fairly rated. I definitely think that there are other Captain America movies that are better. But I think it's a decent spot on the list for Captain America Civil War. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've got it as fairly rated. I just think it's like it's not top 5, but it's not like back of the list. It's just that it's like 7. It makes sense. I have my gripes with the movie, but at the end of the day, it's a very cool movie.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, the fights alone.
Black Panther was actually really good.
Black Panther's great in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody. That's one of the great things about that movie is everyone got a chance to shine.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Cap, Iron Man, Black Panther, Hawk. Like everyone who was in that fight had a spot where they did their thing.
Yes.
It made everyone feel like a threat. Made everyone feel important. They did a really good job of that.
The fight choreography, like the Bucky and Black Panther fight.
Oh, that's really good.
Dude.
I didn't kill your father.
Yeah.
Like it's all really good. And I mean, you know, the end. I mean, that stuff with Tony where he's like, "Damn it, Rogers, did you know?"
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yes.
Or no, he says, I didn't know it was him."
Oh,
or something.
yeah.
Like he says something like that. And then they get in like basically a handicap match and just start throwing hands. It's a really fun movie. So yeah, I think it's good at 7.
Yeah,
like you said, move it up and down, but other than that, leave it where it's at.
Yeah. So then we have, moving along, we actually have another Captain America movie, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And well, actually, here, let's get your thoughts on that.
Underrated. This thing should be top 5 easy. This is the best project to come out of the MCU. It's the best. Captain America: Winter Soldier is the best movie to come out of the MCU. I will argue with a wall over that. Like, it's not close. And the fact that it's 6 is criminal. It should be top 3, at the very least top 5.
Yes.
To me, the first 2 Captain Americas, so for context, the first 2 Captain Americas are my favorite thing out of the MCU. Like, out of any phase, those first 2 movies are just, to me, I love them. And the Winter Soldier's he's just sweet, man. Especially for someone who's read the book. It's just, I mean, they do such a good job of paying homage to the story with mixing it up and fitting it into their universe and making it its own. I mean, I love the stuff. I mean, the turmoil in Cap. The stuff with Cap and Natasha's great.
Yeah.
I mean, just overall, it's just a freaking amazing movie. I love The Winter Soldier. I haven't seen it in a while, so like off the top of my head, I can't give you a bunch of spark notes of things. But yeah, for me, The Winter Soldier, I think, is severely underrated at number 6.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I have it underrated. And just so y'all know, we didn't actually
we did not conspire.
We didn't. No, like these are, we haven't shared this list with each other up until this point. But as of right now, we're 6 for 6 on all of our ratings. But anyway, I have mine as underrated too. I agree with you. It should at least be on the top half of the top 10. At the very least. Especially with some of these other movies that are up here. I think that Captain America: The Winter Soldier is probably, like you said, it's probably easily the best thing in the MCU.
I think hands down.
Yeah, I mean, there could be arguments made for some other movies, possibly, but maybe
that's the way to put it. It's in the conversation for the best.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's in the conversation.
You know, I mean, you touched on it. The whole Bucky stuff, like that was Natasha. Like the whole, government has taken over, or excuse me.
I mean, yeah. Also, the twist at the end.
Yeah, like Hydra's taking over S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
That was done very, very well. The speech that Captain America gives.
Dude, the elevator scene.
Yeah, the elevator scene. Like, there's just so many cool
scene.
things in that movie. Yeah.
Come on,
So,
man.
but yeah, I definitely agree. That is underrated for this list. I definitely.
So then at number 5, Scotty, what are your thoughts? We've got Iron Man. The first Iron Man.
So, I actually have a funny story about Iron Man. I didn't see the first Iron Man movie until after I had seen Avengers Endgame.
What?
Yeah, I didn't. I had never seen the first Iron Man movie, and then after Avengers Endgame, I went and watched it in the theater. I was like, I should probably watch his first movie since the very first movie I saw Iron Man in was the first Avengers movie. I never went back, and so I went back and watched it. And here's the thing,
dude, that's like watching Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, and then like being like, I should probably go watch Justice League War, huh?
Yeah,
like,
I mean maybe. Yeah, but I did enjoy the first Iron Man movie. I think out of all 3 of the Iron Man movies, I don't really think this is a hot take. Like, it's easily the best one of the 3.
Yeah.
I do think for this list, I do think it's overrated. I do think, I'm not saying that it's not even in the conversation of the top 10. I enjoyed the first Iron Man movie. I thought that was when his character was probably the best. Again, there could be arguments for other movies, but I think that was probably when Iron Man was at his best. I do think that it should be in the top 10 somewhere. I'm not saying it should be 5. I think it should be maybe like 8.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
Maybe 9. Something like that.
I think that's fair.
So.
So for me, I've got it at, it's fairly rated. I think it's fairly rated. Simply because I think when you're looking at lists like this, and this isn't just for us, this is for everyone, I think so often you get your own personal like views and what you like in your top 10 list versus objectively looking at it and going, okay, what are the top 10 best? And I think solely just for what that movie represented, I mean, it was the start of everything. I just think the first Iron Man, and I'm not even a huge fan of it. Like, I enjoy it. I recognize how good of a movie it is. But like we mentioned this last episode, I'm not a big Iron Man guy. But like I understand how important and good that movie is. So I think it's fairly rated because I don't think it's a top 4. I don't think it's Mount Rushmore of Marvel movies. No. But I also don't think it's back half. So I think it's middle of the road. I think it's perfect for it.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have to, regardless of your feeling on the MCU for anyone, you have to look at Iron Man and go, it created all this. So that's why, I've got it perfectly rated at 5.
I can respect that.
I've got it perfectly rated at 5.
So then moving right along, we have Thor Ragnarok at number 4.
Overrated. Overrated. The movie sucks. Okay? Let me take it back. Hang on. Let me calm down. Let me calm down here, Scotty. I don't need to get all worked up over this.
It's just a video. It's just a video.
Hey, Thor Ragnarok. You're a good movie. But you're not top 10. You're not top 15. You're maybe not even top 20. Because Thor's the god of thunder. He is one of the original Avengers. He is, when people talk about an Avengers versus Justice League fight, he's who calls the bell to fight Superman. Maybe the Hulk, but it rotates between one of the two of them.
He's one of the heavy hitters.
He's Thor. And I watch him become a comedy film. Now, I recognize it was well done. I'm not denying that it was well done. But this is one of my main issues with the MCU as a whole. They turned Hulk into a joke. Now Thor's a joke. Who's next? Captain America? Sam Wilson's Captain America? Like, he's taking the reins now. Excited to see what he does with it. He's a Houston boy, so, very cool. But what in the world is Thor Ragnarok doing at number 4? Over Winter Soldier? Over X2? Spider-Man? Over Civil War?
Yeah.
Dude, it's not that good. And I'm tired of people acting like it is. It's a fun movie. It is. It's fun. It's well done. It's not top 10. It's not top 15. So, I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have it overrated. I'm not as harsh on the movie. I can sit down and enjoy the movie, but
Fair.
But also, and I'll touch on this a little bit. Is if you go into Thor 4, I know you haven't seen.
I haven't seen. I didn't even.
Thor 4, Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Horrible movie. I hated that movie. It
didn't do well.
It didn't do well. The thing is that what's the director's name of Ragnarok? Wakiti or whatever.
I can't pronounce his name.
I don't know. We all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But so he made Thor Ragnarok. I think I can sit down and enjoy the movie. I 100% believe it should not be in the top 10. Maybe not even top 15, like you said.
Yeah.
But so he made Thor Ragnarok. Everybody loved Thor Ragnarok. Thought it was awesome. So he's like, oh, let me make another Thor movie that's giggles and whatnot. And then it tanked because the writing wasn't there. They just wanted to make a fun
They wanted
Thor
to copy
movie.
And paste.
Yeah, and it didn't work. So I think for Thor Ragnarok, I honestly think that he had like a one-hit wonder. Where he made an alright comedy movie. I don't think that Thor.
It's like take your ball and go home. You did it.
Yeah. I don't think that Thor should be a comedic superhero at all. Like he's.
No, because that's the issue. Is now I didn't even mention this in Ragnarok. They make Hulk a joke again.
Yeah.
Like you're making your two heaviest hitters on your super team jokes.
Yeah.
You're making them jokes. They did the same thing in Endgame with Thor. Where they put a Fortnite ad in the movie.
Yeah,
like,
and they made him all fat and depressed and whatnot.
He's Thor.
Yeah.
He's a god. What are you doing? So it's overrated. As simple as that. Going into number 3, the very first Guardians of the Galaxy. How are you feeling about it being at number 3?
So I actually have it fairly rated.
Wow. All right. That's a hot take.
Yeah, I
mean, I guess not. IMDb agrees with you, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a really good movie. I still listen to that soundtrack every now and then. I think it was one of those things where we had seen all the heroes on Earth and we got to see something different. Chris Pratt nails it as Star-Lord. I didn't know a whole lot about, the Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think really anyone did until this movie came out. But yeah, I think it's a fairly rated movie. Maybe you can move it up or down like 1 or 2 spots. I don't think it's like top 2. I don't think it's top 2.
Yeah.
But I think for the list that we have, I think it's fairly rated.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go overrated. I do believe it should be in the top 10. I just don't think it's 3. I agree with you. I like it for all the same reasons he just said. It was, for the time, it was such a palate cleanser of a superhero movie. It was so good for what it was. And being an OG wrestling fan, seeing Batista as a superhero was super cool. I really enjoy Guardians. I just don't think it's number 3. I would put it in the back half of that top 10, but I do believe it is top 10. We'll leave it at that for number 3.
Okay. And then closing in on the first spot, we're at number 2, and we're at the first Avengers movie. What's your
I got it perfectly rated. Only because, is it my personal 2? No. But same thing as Iron Man. For what the movie was at the time, it was a pioneer. It is one of those movies that like I can go back and watch now and feel so much nostalgia. Like I can feel that time in my life seeing the Avengers for the first time. It was still when everyone was taken super seriously in the group.
Yes.
I think it was it was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It was just done masterfully. It felt like I was watching this grand omnibus play out in terms of a 2-hour movie. And then everything that sprung from it. So I've got it at 2. Like I said, not my personal 2, but I think where it's at, it's perfectly rated.
Yeah, I have mine, Avengers, the first one, I have it fairly rated as well.
Yeah.
I think, and as much crap as we've, over the last 2 videos we've given Marvel, like, I really think that the first Avengers, like, that first phase of the MCU is actually really well done.
It's phenomenal.
It had never been done before. We get to see a multiple movie lead up, and then we get to see the big payoff with the team up of the Avengers saving the world. Like you said, it's very nostalgic. The first time I watched it, we had a sleepover, and I watched it at your house.
That's right, yeah.
We went to Redbox.
We went and got the DVD. Off Redbox. For those of you that remember. Are Redbox still around?
I think they are.
I think they still have some.
It's almost like they just have them to have them. Like no one really
if you go
them.
To a CVS on
but it's a fairly rated movie. I mean, you wouldn't have really the rest of the MCU. I mean, yes, it started with Iron Man, but you wouldn't really have the MCU as we know it without the first Avengers movie. And I think for what it was at the time, I think it was very well done.
And really quick side note, for those of you that think we might be MCU or Marvel haters, we're not.
No.
Obviously, as you can see, I mean, dude, in my top 5 favorite superheroes is Daredevil. We love Marvel. To what he just said, the first phases of the MCU is so good.
Yes.
That's why we don't like what's coming out now and in the last X amount of time. Because they ventured so off the path of what they were, and it just became corny. It's just, the MCU's corny now. So that's why, so everyone's aware.
Corny, goofy, and quality over quantity. Or quantity over
quality.
Yeah.
So for the final spot, number 1, I think everybody kind of knows already. Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Where do you rank on Infinity War being number 1?
This might be a little bit of a hot take. I have it as overrated.
Okay, that's definitely a hot take.
Yes,
so, that's definitely a hot take.
I think there are some movies on this list that are better. I can agree it's at least top, 5, 3, whatever. For the list that we have, I could definitely agree with that. I don't think it's number 1. I don't think it's number 1. I think out of the 2, Infinity War, Endgame, I think Infinity War is definitely the better movie. The only thing, and I remember we went to watch it in the theater together, and I think the only thing that really holds it back is the fact that we know exactly how it's going to end in the following movie. Because back whenever this movie came out, they already had released their slate for the following 5 years or whatever it is.
We knew what was coming out 3 months ago.
And we knew, there's going to be another Spider-Man movie in 2 years. There's going to be another Black Panther movie when, obviously, God rest, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
But we knew those characters were coming back, so it's kind of like, as shocked as we were when we left the theater, it was kind of like, but they're coming back. You know, and I think it kind of, it limited the impact.
Feeling.
And also, what would have been cooler is if those movies weren't announced and we didn't know for a fact that they were coming back, or if only some of them were coming back.
Right.
And I think
some level of suspense.
For as shocking as that movie was, it was hindered by that. And I think if they had not done that and waited to release it until after Endgame, then I think it would have been a little bit better. Also, even rewatching it now after we already know how it ends, it's just kind of like, yeah, but we know that Marvel doesn't, like, very rarely do they stick to their guns as far as, like, someone staying dead. It doesn't happen. We've seen it with Loki.
In all fairness, neither does DC.
I mean, yes, but I'm saying, like, the finality of it, like,
what the story was everyone dying.
Yes.
Yes.
So, but let's hear your take.
I have it as overrated as well. We just had a light go out. That's all right. We're gonna cruise through. But yeah, I've got it as overrated, man. I just think same thing he just said. It's just we were in the theater. I remember how excited we were. And I remember sitting there after the credits start to roll and looking at him and going, but Tom Holland's got 6 more movies on his slate. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not staying dead. And then I'm like, well, so does him and him and him. And I'm like, wait, they're making a Black Panther? Like, I'm like, wait, no, they're like, what, no. Like, these guys aren't dead. There are some things with Infinity War that I think could have been executed a little bit better. I also think, just specifically in terms of the people that died, like, and it was so obvious what they were doing when all the OG members were alive, and it was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna... And it was just like, I wish it wasn't so predictable, especially now because on the rewatch, it is a little bit limited because you're like, from the moment the movie starts, you're just like, I know beat for beat what's about to happen, and not that you don't always know that when you're rewatching a movie, but it's just the way it was done. I also don't think it's the best Avengers movie. I think the first Avengers is better than it.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's top 10. We both agree it's top 10. It's just not number 1. And so really quickly, to wrap the episode up, guys, we're going to give you our personal number 1 Marvel film of all time.
Yes.
Why don't you give us yours first, Scotty?
So, I thought of, like, maybe 3 that I could have put for this number 1 spot, but at the end of the day, I feel like this is probably the best one. It's Spider-Man 2 for me, the original Tom Holland Spider-Man. I mean, just, it's one of those things, like, I'll rewatch it once a year, and it's just, it's very, the whole thing about him, not getting what he wants, but knowing what he has to do and giving up what he desires for the responsibility that he has with the powers that he has. And, Doc Ock, did a great job. Alfred Molina, just amazing job as Doc Ock. There are a couple of different movies that I thought for this spot, but I just think, it has to be Spider-Man 2 for me.
Yeah, so just to not delay it, I agree. Mine's Spider-Man 2 as well. If you can't tell, we're big Sam Raimi boys.
Yes.
Yeah, it's masterclass, man. Nothing in Marvel in my eyes has been topped yet. It's in my top 3 superhero movies of all time.
Yeah.
It's just the internal battle you're watching in him for about 60% of the movie. Mm-hmm. It's something we can all relate to. It's something that all hits everyone, deep. And when you're watching it, you're like, man, dude, he's got to watch his girl go like get with somebody else because he has this. Like, it's like maybe not on that level, but we can all relate to it in some way. We can all feel what he's feeling. We get some of the best action, I think, of any superhero movie ever.
The train fight,
the fight on the building, the fight with Aunt May. Him and Doc Ock are throwing hands the entire movie. Like you said, Alfred Molina is phenomenal in it. So is Harry. Also, Harry, I think, is an unsung hero of Spider-Man 2. The stuff with Harry and Peter, I love. I love, because you totally understand why Harry's upset. You totally, and then to find out it's Peter, his heart's broken. It's like, this is my best friend. He killed my father. Just all in all, I do not have a single gripe with the movie. If you have not watched it, if you're a younger viewer and you haven't seen Spider-Man 2, go watch it.
Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe bell. Just whenever new videos come out. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.